There are 4 reasons you should vote in opposition in today's debate. First, my opponent failed to address the main flaw in her case and prove the UN is capable of passing a resolution she wants. She never mentions the UN in her constructive, and she offers no evidence in her rebuttal. She can't have a prima facie case without it. I quote from the UN Charter. She tries in her rebuttal to tie dolphin hunting into international peace. But look at the language of Article 1. It is clearly referring to acts of war and aggression between nations, not a dolphin hunt that upsets people. Even if you believe her, she doesn't answer the jurisdictional problem that this is a Japanese domestic issue. That's Article 2, Subpoint 7, that I quoted in my first contention of the case she claims I didn't have. The UN Charter forbids it from doing what she wants it to do. She fails to demonstrate otherwise, and she can't bring in a new argument in her last speech. This jurisdictional issue takes precedence over anything else in the round because until you prove the UN is able to do something, you cannot weigh the argument to decide if it should. You should sign your ballot now in opposition right here at this point. Next, she drops my second contention showing that when in conflict, the UN favors cultures over animal rights. She tries to twist the McCausland evidence to say that the UN has been working for animal rights for 13 years, but this is a complete misread. I linked it again. Look for yourself. The UN has no documents on the rights of animals and hasn't voted on the issue despite 13 years of outside lobbying. On the other hand, it voted for the rights of cultures 148 to 2. She doesn't argue that the dolphin hunt has been part of the Taiji culture since 1675. She concedes this state. The UN should favor culture, which it recognizes, over animal rights, which it does not. Another clear op voter. Third, she ignores my argument that Taiji is non-unique and passing a resolution singling it out would be discrimination and counter to the principles of the UN. This is my third contention. She needed to prove why Taiji uniquely deserves a resolution when there are other places that hunt dolphin in Japan and elsewhere in the world, and she failed to do that. If you single out one hunt, your silence implies that other similar hunts are okay because they weren't named. If you hate dolphin hunting, the answer isn't a resolution against Taiji, it's a resolution against dolphin hunting globally. Again, she can't bring up a new argument to answer this now. Last, she tries in her rebuttal to hammer this point about dolphin meat and health dangers, but she never demonstrates solvency. My fourth contention said that Taiji is not the only source of dolphin meat. She gives you no evidence that people will stop eating it if the hunt is halted. Without that, this argument carries no weight because people will still have access to meat. She doesn't prove how anything changes, so let's summarize. First, look at jurisdiction. Because you need to prove the UN cannot act before you decide if they should. That is a clear win because my opponent never answers this argument. I also win on cultures versus rights, the non-uniqueness argument, and show she has no solvency in the eating a dolphin, which is her case's only possible impact. I urge an opposition ballot.